Today we're looking at all of the hate being thrown at Disclosure Day, Steven Spielberg's latest film, and for a lot of people, it is Disappointment Day. Let's get into it. Box Office Brawler says, I'm about 20 minutes into Disclosure Day. It's terrible. 3 puking emojis. So bad he decided to tweet during the film. Lucas says, I just saw Disclosure Day. Man, that was rough. Haven't been as bummed about a movie in years. Expectations for Spielberg sci-fi were sky high. Biff said, in a word, disappointing. Possibly the worst Spielberg film yet. Washed out, too much lens flare, and no, all was not disclosed. But they said all would be disclosed. I guess not. This is Box Office Brawler. I think he's still tweeting during the film. He says, people are walking in and walking out. You'll want to leave early. It's wasted time. The Tonic Mole says, I went and saw Disclosure Day, one of the worst films I've seen in a while. The script was cliche, squandered the cool premise, the characters are shallow, and the effects some of the worst I've seen in years. And I have seen some of the effects of the deer and the animals, and they don't look good. You'll see. Not sure what Steven Spielberg was thinking. Senator John Connors said, I really wanted Disclosure Day to be good. I wanted the movie from the commercials about how humanity would confront the existence of aliens. Instead, it's mostly the wacky hijinks of the dumbest secret agents ever as they use magic to move the plot forward. People are comparing this to Contact, but they're saying that Contact is a better movie. Ooh, this is rough. Whenever a movie's compared to TV, Daniel says Disclosure Day feels as if some 4 seasons canceled sci-fi series made in the mid-90s finally found the backing for a movie form finale. But it's made by and for people who are unaware of the internet, still firmly stuck in a legacy media mindset, and who haven't consumed any alien-focused content in the last 25 years. That's another thing I've heard as well. It feels like a throwback, but not necessarily in a good way, more like in a cliche sort of way. And the whole thing is sponsored by Alfa Romeo, because some retired 76-year-old Italian executive who still uses a Nokia thought this will really shake people up. This is one of the cringiest experiences I've ever had in a movie theater. The final act made me physically uncomfortable from the weight of secondhand embarrassment. The too long don't read version of this is an alien conspiracy movie for normies. Fake Wizard says, Spielberg, people are going to question their faith after seeing this movie. Also Spielberg. Ship's trash movie. The Virtue Man said tons of paid shill and bot accounts praising this movie. It's a 2+ hour drama/chase movie with 10 minutes of alien-related screen time and no meaningful ending. Save your money and time. Go see Masters of the Universe again instead and support an actual good movie. I will say, at least from what I recall, the initial press for this film was really good. A lot of people were saying Spielberg is back to true form, but I don't even know if it was real people. Very well could have been paid shills and bot accounts. Currently, it's sitting at 80% with critics and 74% with audiences. As I have seen with this audience score, I don't always trust the reviews. Some of them do feel very, very bot-like. Now, I'm not saying that for this film, but I have seen in some cases where the reviews are very sus. Another brutal review. Adam Morgan says Disclosure Day is genuinely one of the dumbest science fiction movies I've ever seen. Imagine if Jurassic Park was just people chasing Dennis Nedry's shaving can around the American Midwest for 2 hours, followed by 2 minutes of blurry dinosaur footage on the local news. Oh, man. And at least from what the marketing showed us, we assumed that it wasn't just going to be like a cat and mouse chase, but that it was going to be something a little bit more than that. I mean, when I heard that's what it was, I was kind of disappointed as well. Box Office Brawler's back. He says the drop-off for week 2 is going to be historic. Word of mouth is burying this movie. I definitely think Disclosure Day is going to have a rough second week. Be Afraid says, last time I go into a movie blind unless it's a horror movie. This was so pointless and bland, I honestly don't know who it was made for, but I can't see anyone saying they enjoyed this. I highly recommend you avoid this and watch literally anything else in theaters. 3 out of 10. It breaks my heart to see a Spielberg movie get trashed like this. Well, not really, but it is a little disappointing. Fake Wizard was so mad about this movie, he flipped the poster of the bird. He gave the bird the bird. Said 145 minutes for pretentious overacting in scenes intended for Oscar nomination clips. Disclosure Day was made by people who enjoy sniffing their own farts, and boy, howdy, did this movie crap the bed. Pack it up, Grandpa. Spielberg is done. Christy Lee says, my Disclosure Day movie review in 3 sentences. Not worth the hype. Mildly entertaining beginning, cringeworthy, completely unrealistic, If you've ever worked in a newsroom, corny ending. So somebody said, who is paying these people to give these negative reviews? And then Christie says, who's paying people to give it good reviews? It was so dumb. So Spielberg did say that this movie was going to cause people to question their faith in God. And the Babylon Bee said, Disclosure Day causes audience to question their faith in Steven Spielberg. This is pretty funny because this is the top review for Disclosure Day on Letterboxd. And Harry says, I refuse to believe 5,000 people found this funny. So the person gave it 3 stars and they said, wouldn't you like to know, Weather Girl? Tell me you've seen the meme with the kids saying,
wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Your boy Nell says, Disclosure Day is a massive whiff by Spielberg. Felt like someone tried to imitate a Spielberg movie. Can't believe this is what he gave us. Trying to recreate his hits, and the movie is silly, boring, and the premise that drives the movie is stupid. We watched a movie said take Steven Spielberg's name off Disclosure Day and slap M. Night Shyamalan's name on it, and it's a 12% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Guaranteed. Different universe where we could run that experiment. Would that happen? Because I do think it might be possible. But could it really be anywhere near The Happening, Lady in the Water, The Last Airbender? Could it really be that bad? The Paranormal Chris says it really is that bad. I was messaging people during the movie and found myself looking around watching other people's reaction. I did see 2 people walk out of my theater. This was in response to a post from Landon who said Disclosure Day was atrociously bad. I mean, potentially one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Wow. Multiple people got up and left the theater. People were on their phones, fidgeting, and completely uninterested. Uninteresting, corny beyond belief, premise sucked, acting was just bad, music cringed me out. This felt like a boomer blockbuster, and Steven Spielberg tarnished himself with this one. Rough watch. If you could stay awake, save your money. That might be the most brutal review of them all. 4.1 thousand people liked this post. I don't know if they saw the movie, but they liked the post. All right, we do have a positive review. Cinema Tweet says, I gave Disclosure Day a positive review, 4 stars, which is pinned to my profile, but I'm starting to think I'm on an island alone. Look, I get the screenplay was not very good, but as I noted in my review, the filmmaking direction from Spielberg was top-notch. Come on, people. I can't remember if I read this from Sid Field's book, Screenplay, or Sidney Lumet's book, but somebody said a director can take a great script and make a bad movie. But no matter how great a director is, they cannot take a bad script and make it a good film. And maybe that's what we're seeing here. I mean, there's certainly a few people out there that are glazing Spielberg's filmmaking and saying like, wow, you know, the technical aspects of this film are really good. But at the end of the day, if the screenplay is just not working, it's not good, audiences don't care. You know, cinematography could be great, direction, art direction, blocking, etc., etc. Those are things that, yes, some of us do notice. But as far as just the audience that is going to experience and have an experience with the film, most people don't even notice any of that stuff. They're just taking it all in. Okay, here's a post about how bad the CG animals are. Mark says, Steven Spielberg is one of the greatest filmmakers who ever lived, but how did the man who made dinosaurs look real in 1993 give us a deer in 2026 that looks fake? I mean, look at this T-Rex. It still looks good today. And then you see these deer. And I wouldn't say that these deer are like the worst looking shot here, but I have seen some of the animals in motion. The CGI just does not look good. So Steve had a different angle on this. He says, just got out of Disclosure Day. I'm going to write the mother of all movie reviews tomorrow. For this film intends to deconstruct Christianity, and not even subversively, but straight up. I will provide specific examples in my review. Also, worst movie Spielberg has ever made. So Steve is saying that the film is anti-Christian. Nezahal Doomer says, Disclosure Day is a lame, woke movie. All the bad guys are white males. DEI hires are the good guys. Women in positions of power. Men are dumb unless they are DEI. The aliens have a message for humanity. And 6, they never say the effing message. No joke. Save your money. So that's the first time I heard this about Disclosure Day, that it's woke. Curious to hear what you guys thought if you saw it. Did you think it was woke? Corky Rider Lathamos says, Begonia covers the disclosing the truth about aliens topic in a much better and more in-depth, unique, and subtle way than what Disclosure Day offered. And if you haven't seen Begonia, it might be a little weird and definitely out there for some people, but I enjoyed it. And I thought Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, I mean, he really did deliver a great performance. It's an interesting watch if you haven't seen it. Criticalist Blaine says Disclosure Day is not great. Once again, the critics have lost their minds. Looks like they are peddling as much propaganda as this movie is. This is a contender for most brutal review. Disclosure Day is the worst movie of the decade. Not of the year, not of Steven Spielberg's career, but the worst movie of the decade. 1.3 thousand likes. An account called Disclosure Day Spoilers, and I'm assuming they changed their name on this. I left the movie in disbelief because I understood even less of why they released this at all. It should have been kept under lock and key. The Patrick says people are downing Steven Spielberg's status as one of the GOATs of cinema because they didn't like Disclosure Day. Like he didn't already prove it with Jaws, Saving Private Ryan, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Jurassic Park, to name a few. Now, if you were going to say Spielberg was the GOAT, that's kind of a little bit in question. However, he's up there. He is certainly one of the GOATs. You can't make the movies listed here and not say that he's one of the GOATs. I don't really know if a film like Disclosure Day can really tarnish the legacy of Spielberg. I think it hurts it a little bit, but I certainly don't think that it ruins it. The best of Spielberg was 70s, 80s, 90s. That was the prime of Spielberg. And don't get me wrong, he's made some decent movies in the 2000s, but as none of these movies are listed here, it's very clear that there has been somewhat of a drop-off. But going forward, I think as long as Spielberg gets a good script or a great script, he will turn out a good or great film. And at least from what I'm hearing, the problem isn't so much with Spielberg as with the screenplay itself. I could be wrong, I've yet to see the film, but based off of the reviews that I've heard, I will catch it on streaming. Have you seen Disclosure Day? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching this video, especially if you made it this far. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.